Okay. Dann machen wir das jetzt auch einfach direkt. I'm sorry, the Grand Market isn't quite open for business yet. Oh, it's the student from yesterday. Good morning. Opening late today after all, I see. Afraid so. Guess you already know about the robbery yesterday, huh? The two merchants whose stalls were destroyed are still arguing about it. You bastard! You're not going to get away with this. Oh no, not them. The manager came to try and break them up, but he doesn't seem to be having much luck. I hope no one ends up getting hurt. What should we do, Wien? Maybe we could try talking to them? Considering everything that happened yesterday, you might just be the cavalry we need right now. Would you mind? Not at all. Let's go. How dare you destroy my store, you damn coward! I knew you country folk weren't to be trusted. Where could it have been? Just come clean and admit it already. Who are you calling a coward, you Heimdallian snob? You're the one who wanted my spot all for yourself. Calm down, gentlemen, please. Playing all innocent and trying to paint me as a bad guy here. You make me sick. What do you say we settle this right here now? Bring it on. Hold it. Objection. Class 7? You kids again. Keep your noses out of this. I'm gonna make him pay for smashing my stall. Smashing? Wow, they really are completely ruined. This is awful. However, harming one another is not going to bring them back. In the end, they will still be smashed and you will be worse off. But this anger isn't gonna go anywhere unless I do something. He took all my goods too, so I haven't even got anything to sell. What are you talking about? You the one who stole my goods. And you're gonna give them all back right now and fix the damage you did to my stall, or else I can't be held responsible for my actions. This isn't good. I don't think they're even listening to what we're saying. What do we do? Stop this at once. The provincial army. What? What is the meaning of this? It's the middle of a morning. Stop this nonsense immediately. But I believe you are the one in charge here. I demand an explanation as to what has transpired. Well, you see, the market manager explained to the provincial army officer what had happened the previous night. I see. The solution is simple then, men. Take them away. Yes, sir. What? What do you mean, take it away? 2 stalls were destroyed, 2 sets of goods were stolen. The truth is as clear as day. 2 merchants in the midst of a heated disagreement committed the same crime at the same time. But that's not fair. Do you not think it premature to draw such a conclusion without any investigation? The provincial army doesn't have time to waste solving the petty squabbles of merchants. But I'm not an unreasonable man. Cease your dispute and you will be left alone. Continue and you come with us. The choice is yours. They're trying to force both merchants to forget this ever happened. To sweep the whole ordeal under the rug. Yeah, something about this seems really wrong. Gah. Very good then. Surely can agree that wasting time on shenanigans like this is detrimental to all parties involved. I hope you'll think twice before causing such a ruckus ever again. Now, if you'll please excuse us, I'm a busy man and I have more pressing matters to attend to. There they go. Well, I guess they did stop those two from fighting, but it did nothing to solve the underlying problem. This isn't right. I see now how the provincial army here conducted itself. I'm sure you're both still pretty angry about this, but right now the two of you need to focus on keeping cool-headed. If you have time to fight, try to use that time for something more productive instead. You'll feel a lot better. Yeah. I shouldn't have let my anger take control of me like that. We can't open the Grand Market for business until we've cleaned up these busted stores. And we're already running late, so I hate to ask, but would you all mind lending me a hand? Market Manager Otto, with assistance from the merchants of the market, cleared away the remains of the two stores. And with the help of Reen and the others on top of that, the Grand Market was finally able to open for the day, albeit behind schedule. Hallo, Janus Abes, danke für deinen Raid mit deinen 3 Zuschauern. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zum Stream. Danke, Janus. I guess, thanks. I really appreciate your raid. Yeah, just for your guys' information, it's a German stream, so don't wonder if when otherwise when the reading of text, I'm speaking German, so yeah. But thanks anyway. Thanks to you all, we were able to open the Grand Market for business today a bit quicker than I had expected. Can't even begin to tell you how grateful I am. Oh, there's no need for that. We barely did anything. I'm just glad no one got hurt. All the more reasons, thank you. Merchant's stall is his livelihood. Any action taken against it can throw him into blind rage, and it's hard to bring someone back from that. It would seem the problems facing the merchant in this town are quite grave indeed. The provincial army may have intervened, but it's difficult to believe they'd make no attempt to find an amicable solution. Quite right. It's clearer than ever now that they have no intention of trying to resolve any issues involving the market. And I can't see that changing unless we decide to just accept the sales tax increase and keep quiet about it. Still, you'd think they'd at least be a little more subtle about the whole thing. There's no way those two merchants are just going to accept this and move on. No, I don't suppose they will. And if word gets out about this, it's not inconceivable for certain groups of people to begin boycotting the marketplace. Something definitely has to be done. Just not sure what. Is something wrong, Reen? You're awfully quiet. Are you feeling unwell? Sir, I have a favor to ask. Would you consider allowing us to investigate this morning's incident? What? Are you suggesting that we attempt to find the perpetrator who destroyed the merchant's stalls ourselves? It's a kind offer, but as I said yesterday, this is our affair, not yours. You're students, you have your own studies to worry about, and I wouldn't feel right interfering with them. We're student training for the military, though. We can't just stand by and allow something so unjust to go unchallenged. It's the provincial army's responsibility to address this, sure, but they are shirking their duties here, and that reflects purely on us to all. Well, that's true enough, I guess. But do you really think we're up for something like this? I kind of have to wonder about that too. I mean, at the end of the day, we're just amateurs. We should at least check with instructor Sarah first and see what she thinks. She's already told us. Put your head together and think, and I'm sure you'll see what you need to do. Her words. This seems like exactly the sort of thing she meant. At least it does to me. Oh. I see a point. Perhaps matters such as this may fall under the scope of our field study after all. Yeah, you do make a good case. I'm still not sure we're up to it, but I guess it can't hurt to try. Neither seek nor shun the fight. Very well, we shall do what we can. Are you really sure about this? I'm certainly not going to say no. I'm very concerned about the market and the safety of our merchants. So if you're 100% sure, I have to admit I truly would appreciate anything you can do for us. Thank you, sir. We'll do everything in our power to find answers for you. Just be careful. Don't go seeking out trouble. I don't want you kids being put in danger. We're dealing with a criminal who acts under cover of the night. He may be capable of a lot more than just thievery and vandalism. Remember, I'm responsible for your safety. If anything were to happen to you, I couldn't even look Van Dyke in the eye anymore. We'll be careful, we promise. I know I will, at least. I probably need to be more careful than anyone else here. Now that that's settled, we should act quickly. Yeah, let's get this investigation started. Ich meine, wir haben ja einen gewissen lilahaarigen Typen, der mit Diebstählen was zu tun hat, schon gesehen. Aber wir kennen ihn auch mittlerweile gut genug, um zu wissen, er wird es nicht sein. So, first things first, we need to decide where to start investigating. The logical starting point would be the Grand Market itself, the scene of a crime. Can't argue with that. We should probably get statements from those two merchants before anything else. Indeed, I anticipate they've calmed themselves by now, so perhaps we can get something a bit more substantial from them. We still have to ascertain their innocence or guilt in the matter as well. We'll need to keep a close eye on the time, so if we miss the last train toward Heimdall, we'll have no way of getting back to the academy today. Plus, we've been given our other tasks too, and I'd really like to get them done. In short, we need to keep moving. Our deadline is 9 PM. Let's use every minute we have to accomplish everything we possibly can. Understood? You bet. Right. Jawohl, dann werden wir das jetzt mal machen. So. Wir gehen jetzt wieder auf den Grand Market und reden mit Heinz. And to think I was ecstatic to finally participate in the famous Celtic Grand Market. Oh, what did I ever do to deserve this? Excuse me? You? I'm sorry you had to see me acting like that. I hope you can forgive me for my inappropriate behavior. He seems really down. It's quite understandable. He's a merchant in a busy market, unable to do business. So, what brings you here? Did you need something from me? Well, actually, We'd explained that he and his classmates were investigating the truth behind what had happened the previous night. You're investigating? That's right, and we'd really appreciate it if you could answer a few questions for us. You may be able to help us find the true culprit. I suppose it can't hurt. It's better than doing nothing, at least. You don't have to sound so pessimistic. Well, can you blame me? You're a student at a military academy. You're not exactly ace detectives. That is true, but we're still determined to find out who did this. We may even be able to recover your goods. Cooperating with us could prove quite fruitful. Okay, fine. I never said I wouldn't help you, did I? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say, though. It's not like I saw anything worth mentioning. You didn't. As soon as I made sure my stall was ready to open the next morning, I left everything set up and went home. The other merchants around here can vouch for that. Guess I shouldn't have left the stall unattended though. By the time I got in, it was too late. The deed had been done. So, by morning, the stall had already been destroyed and your goods stolen. Come to think of it, what goods were stolen exactly? Oh, I have a sample with me actually. An accessory. Is this a brand that's popular in the capital? Been a real hit lately, yeah. I was hoping to bring the fad here by selling them at the market. But this is the only one I have left now. I dread to think just how much money I lost in one single night. The damn cowards sabotaging my business. It's much too early to be jumping to conclusions. Do you have any evidence that proves his culpability? No, but he's clearly the prime suspect. He was so against the idea of taking turns sharing this spot with me, he decided he'd destroy my stall altogether. I just know it. I'm going to get him to give me my goods back no matter what it takes. Please try to stay calm. You do know that if you cause any more trouble, the provincial army really will arrest you, right? Yeah, I know. But it's a matter of justice. I can't just act like nothing ever happened. It's wrong, on general principle. I'm begging you, please get my goods back, whatever it takes. Well, I can't promise success, but I swear to you, we'll do everything we can. That much I can promise. I think that everything this merchant knows. Let's try questioning the other one. Yep, das machen wir dann jetzt auch. What the hell am I supposed to do now? Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but could we have a moment of your time? You were a kid from the Military Academy, right? What do you want from me? I've got nothing to sell to you, obviously. Even if I did have something to sell, I've got no place to sell it. I'm basically ruined. And to top it all off, the provincial army and that other damn merchant are acting like I'm the one who did it. He's not taking this very well, is he? Hard to blame him, but we need to see if he knows anything that might help us. Well, you see, Queen explained that he and his classmates were investigating the truth behind what had happened the previous night. You're investigating this mess, huh? Okay. So would you consider cooperating with us? Sure, why not? Not getting my hopes up, as I'm sure you can understand, but well, I've got nothing left to lose. Not exactly a vote of confidence. He's willing to cooperate. I say we cut him some slack and hear him out. So, about last night. At the time the incident actually happened. Last night, huh? I don't know how much help I can be if that's what we are asking about here. See, I left the market right after arguing with that merchant yesterday, and I didn't come back till this morning. I stayed over at a friend's place, another merchant. Just got pissed drunk and ranted at him all night. And you're certain of this? Positive. Ask my friend if you don't believe me. He'll back me up. I wandered over here with an awful hangover this morning, and what I found gave me a hell of a start. My whole stall, in shambles. And as if that weren't bad enough, all the processed foods I was going to sell were just gone, without a trace. So the goods that were stolen were all processed goods, foods. That's right, nuts, cheese, bacon, all foods that have a long shelf life, made with local ingredients. Seeing all my stuff gone really sobered me up. It was like I hadn't been drinking at all. And that's when I went over to that fool's stall to make him pay for it. Why did you go straight to him? Because he was the one who did it, of course. He smashed my stall so he could have that spot all to himself. But that doesn't make any sense. If Heinz did it, then why was his stall destroyed too? He must have done that to himself. Probably figured if he destroyed his own stall, no one would believe he could be responsible. I don't know. That seems pretty unlikely. It's a bit excessive. While I understand your frustration, baseless accusations do no one any favors and only cloud the true issue. But it's so frustrating. I've lost so much money because of this. I might have shut up shop for good. That is bad. If I could at least get my goods back, maybe I could salvage enough to stay afloat, but what have I heard of that? None of the other merchants saw anybody do anything, and the provincial army sure ain't about to help. I'm finished, pure and simple. All the hard work I've put into getting this far, and this is how it will be meant for me. Well, I'll be honest, I'm not sure how much we'll actually be able to do for you. But we'll do everything in our power to help you find some form of closure. So share up, okay? I do appreciate that, but again, I ain't about to get my hopes up. Good luck though. That's all the two victims of this crime have to say, it seems. What does everybody think? I can't be sure, but I really don't think either of them is responsible. Both merchants certainly have adequate motive to damage the other's store. But the chance of both committing the same crime on the same night without crossing paths is virtually nil. It's not impossible that they were just out to steal each other's merchandise, but I don't believe that's what happened. Both of them have alibis confirming that they were somewhere else when the crime took place. I'm inclined to agree. I just can't see either of these merchants being responsible for what happened. So we're going to have to look elsewhere to find viable suspects. Well though, I mean, who could it possibly have been? It's impossible to say right now. We don't have any solid leads. We know who the culprit wasn't, but how are we supposed to start narrowing down who it was? The market itself seems unlikely to produce any further clues, so we should focus our attention elsewhere. Actually, there is one thing that's been bugging me. There's one group of people involved in this whole situation whose actions don't seem to make any sense. Maybe if we can work out the reasoning behind their strange behavior, we can come one step closer to finding our culprit. Whom do you mean? I'm talking about, natürlich, the Provincial Army. Wobei natürlich als jemand, der quasi schon das Vorwissen von den, oder Vergangenheitswissen, I don't know, also der die Reihe kennt, wenn man überlegt, was die Sachen sind, das sind einmal Armreifen. Das macht halt keinen Sinn eigentlich großartig, aber vor allem waren es Processed Food. So, und Processed Food klingt direkt instant, das erste was da in den Kopf kommt, sind Jäger. Weil, wie willst du sonst irgendwie großartig eine Mission machen, wenn du keine verarbeiteten Lebensmittel hast? Ne, und die Armbänder, ja, könnten die Dinger benutzen, für ihre Monster, also entweder für ihre Hunde oder Katzen, je nachdem welche Jäger es sind. Das könnte ich mir vorstellen. The Provincial Army. They haven't done a thing to try and solve this crime, despite it happening right under their noses. And that begs the question, why not? The market manager said they are refusing to fulfill their role due to the tax issue, which means the Provincial Army should refuse to intervene in squabbles within the market as well. If that's the case, then why did they come and intervene this morning? Now that you mention it, that really doesn't make any sense. Their methods were atrocious, but the fact is they brought that dispute to an end almost instantly. They did get involved. Yeah, one minute they're refusing to do anything, then the next they're taking a stand. It's definitely suspicious. My point exactly. There's definitely something unnatural about the way they are conducting themselves. And since we have no other leads, What do you say we go to the army's guardhouse and take a look around? We might be able to learn something from them that could aid us in our investigation. But maybe worth an attempt. The guardhouse isn't too far from here either. Let's head on over and see what we can find out. Yay, AP +1. Here's das Guardhouse. Aren't you both students from the Military Academy, was it? What are you doing here? We're terribly sorry to trouble you, but we are hoping you might be able to help us with something. Could we ask you a few questions about the incident that occurred at the Grand Market this morning? What? What does that have to do with you? We are visiting this town on a field study as students of Thors Military Academy, and we would very much appreciate the chance to see how experienced soldiers such as yourself have handled difficult everyday situations. This seems a perfect opportunity for an anecdotal case study, and could prove most invaluable to our education, if you'd permit it. Alright. Stay here, I'll see what I can do. Schon smart formuliert von Laura. It looks like we might be able to hear what they have to say for themselves after all. Nicely done, Laura. In times like these, we need to make good use of our positions. No one can fault a student for wanting to learn after all. But now comes the hard part. This makes me nervous. Well, let's just wait and see what we can get out of him. Remember, it's not always what they say that matters, but how they say it, and even more importantly, what they don't say. Right. I hope you appreciate us taking time out of our busy schedule for this. So what do you want? And make it quick. I'm a busy man, you know. Not even trying to keep up appearances. Unbelievable. I'll be brief then. We came to discuss the incident at the market this morning. Would we be correct in assuming that the provincial army will be conducting no further investigation? But all you came here to ask? Is that all? Should the armed forces charged with maintaining peace in this region not be taking this matter more seriously? Laura, I'm not sure. You've got a big mouth for someone your age, and it seems you have a lot to learn about how military units actually work. What do you mean? Let me ask you this. What should the #1 priority of the provincial army be in order to maintain the status quo? I'll tell you. Their #1 priority should be to enforce the will of their region's ruling lord, Duke Barriere. Members of the provincial army, the will of the nobility is absolute. We're just following our orders. Protect what we have the duty to protect. I assume you're referring to the local petition against the sales tax increase. So you're saying as long as the petition isn't withdrawn, the Grand Market isn't something you have a duty to protect? Interpret my words however you want. We're soldiers. We follow our orders. That's how the military works. And we don't need some fresh military academy inductees telling us how to do our jobs. This is nuts. Does he even have a tiny shred of shame? I was hoping we'd be able to get something out of him, but it sure doesn't seem too likely anymore. So is that it then? I hope this has been enlightening. Now if you'll excuse me, I'll have a job to do. Wait, would you mind answering just one more question? Elliot? Fine, ask it. Well, you have any idea what might have happened to the goods Marco was handling? You know, the accessory merchant. All he had left was that one sample. What are you talking about? That merchant from the capital, Heinz, was the one who was planning to sell accessories. What? What did you just say? What are you all looking at me like that for? How do you know that? I was under the impression you hadn't investigated the matter at all. How peculiar. We only discovered that each of the merchants was intending to sell a short while ago herself. Sir, we have our own ways of finding these things out. You do well not to underestimate us. Now we've wasted enough time answering your questions. We're leaving. Smarte Frage einfach von Elliot. Schön die guten alten Trickfragen. Do you think the fact that they know what each of the merchants was selling means they did investigate the matter after all? But the burglary happened last night and it was only first discovered this morning. Realistically, I don't think there was any opportunity during that time for them to do any digging. Not without running into us. Agreed. I suspect they knew what each merchant was planned to sell well in advance of yesterday's incident. So that would be easy information for them to learn, since Duke Barriere must have issued permits for both stores. That's true. And the army would have no trouble gaining access to transaction records for something like this. But why would they bother? Maybe they needed to know so they could prepare. Prepare for what? I get the impression that the incident at the market has been carefully planned out for a while now. I don't think those two merchants being given permit for the same spot was a coincidence either. It was probably done to get them to start fighting, so they could get robbed while there was tension between them. Basically, to create a situation that couldn't be brought under control without the army's help. So, the two merchants were being used all along. It seems to fit perfectly with what happened this morning. Meanwhile, the provincial army has shown no interest in actively working toward a solution. Unless the market manager chooses to withdraw his petition. So, they waited for things to get out of hand, then showed up to force both parties into an uncomfortable truce. Eventually, the merchants would get worn down enough that they'd feel like they have no choice but to withdraw the petition. This is turning out to be an even shadier situation than I thought. Yeah, but thanks to Elliot, I do believe we've finally uncovered the truth of the matter. That was indeed some very quick thinking you displayed, Elliot. You'd make a fine military strategist. I just got lucky, that's all. So what we know is the provincial army is somehow involved with the actual perpetrators of this crime. The only way to solve it once and for all, though, seems to be, well, to find them and catch them. But if this was carried out by members of the provincial army, that's not going to be an easy task. No, I don't think anyone from the army was directly involved. The soldiers here are far too proud to dirty their hands with such escapades. I tend to agree. Really, wherever the culprits are, I doubt they're still here in Caldic. There just aren't many viable places to hide such a huge volume of goods without them being found. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe they escaped by train? No, that can't be. Boarding a train with that much merchandise would raise suspicion for sure. It's been less than a day since the burglary happened, so they can't have gotten far. Maybe we should ask around on the main roads and see if anyone saw anything out of the ordinary. Someone suspicious may have been spotted leaving or even entering the town. That sounds like a wise course of action. Come, let's resume our search. We must let this cowardly thief run free. I wouldn't dream of it. Jetzt hier das Interessante, was Elliot angeht während der Diskussion, gerade jetzt, wo ich das hier spiele und ich mehr weiß auch über die Charaktere, finde ich die er hat zweimal einen Punkt auf dem Kopf gehabt. Das zweite war, als er die Frage gestellt hat, die natürlich auf der einen Seite smart ist, auf der anderen Seite Sinn macht, dass er sie stellt, auch was Laura gesagt hat. Aber vor allen Dingen, das erste Punkt kam, nachdem der Dulli gesagt, von der Royal Army gesagt hat, von der Provincial Army so, gesagt hat, was seiner Meinung nach die Aufgabe der Armee ist. Und zwar nicht irgendwie die Leute zu beschützen, sondern dem Willen der Herrschenden einfach zu entsprechen. Was Sinn macht, dass Elliot das nicht geil findet, weil sein Vater ist ja eigentlich, sein Vater ist der optimale Kommandeur einer Armee, ne, also wie war sein Vorname? Quake, General Quake, ich hab seinen Vornamen gerade vergessen. General Quake ist halt, was sowas angeht, natürlich komplett ein gutes Stück anders und Elliot weiß, wie sich ein vernünftiger ein vernünftiger Chef einer Armee aufzuführen hat. Wobei aufführen wahrscheinlich das falsche Wort ist, aber sich zu verhalten hat. Da interessant. Und natürlich, was Lore gesagt hat, weiß man zu dem Zeitpunkt hier natürlich nicht. Man hat schon mal eine kleine Anspielung hier im Spiel gesehen. Und zwar, dass der Elliot Quake heißt. Und ganz am Anfang, ich glaube, die zweite Linie im ganzen Spiel ist, gibt General Quake Bescheid. Da kann man natürlich schon drauf schließen, dass entweder Elliot der General ist, wovon man ganz stark aussehen kann, wenn er zu einer Militärakademie geht. Nein, ist er nicht. Wobei es auch interessant wäre, wenn einfach so ein General vom Militär einfach auch erst auf die Militärakademie geht. Fände ich irgendwie, wäre auch ein lustiger Twist, aber man geht davon aus bei so einem Spiel, dass irgendwas werden die beiden dann schon miteinander zu tun haben und ja, haben die ja logischerweise und Laura kommt denen quasi jetzt schon auf die Schliche, weil sie sagt, hier Elliot, du hast gehandelt wie ein echter Militärstrategist und wir wissen, dass General Quake hat natürlich durchaus da was drauf. So ist ja nicht. Da hat Elliot natürlich von einem der Besten gelernt. Immerhin ist General Quake der Chef der 4. gepanzerten Division. Ich glaube 4. Ja doch, müsste 4. sein.